And the crazy thing is, and listen to this, this is the thing that like the deeper I got into it, I'm like, oh my God, the system is so fucked. So you could go to Vegas with $250,000 of your own savings and you could gamble it all away.
In 5 minutes. Lose all your money.
You could lose all your money. But if you want to invest in your friend's company or your friend's idea or a syndication or a fund, you can't unless you're an accredited investor. It is fucked.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's
you can buy lottery tickets and do all this stuff, but,
right?
But Big Brother, we have to get permission to do a business.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the whole thing is totally absurd. It's absolutely absurd, right?
Yeah.
You know, there should be. I mean, they got to fix this. The easiest way I can think of is like just do a simple financial literacy test. Let people take the test.
Yep.
You know, if you pass the test, then you do what you want to do with your money and your assets on your own risk. It's that simple, right?
That's it.
Because there's no test to go gamble in the casino or go buy the lottery ticket.
Yeah.
But they're getting their cut. That's the difference, right?
Yeah.
They get their cut. They get their taxes from it, which is, you know. But you'd think they'd get their taxes from it anyway if the business is successful, right? But yeah, I mean, you know, it's just it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've mentioned that our generation needs to learn how to play this game. What critical financial literacy components are missing from traditional education, and how can crypto help bridge this gap?
Man,
we kind of touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there is no financial education. At least it wasn't when I went to school. You know, we graduated in what, 2010?
I mean, that was a daycare, bro.
Dude,
that was like government daycare.
I learned nothing. You know what I mean? I learned like I learned zero financial literacy. Up until like I had to learn that on my own. I don't know how it is in school today.
It's probably much of the same. I mean, it's more of just a kind of a giant daycare.
I don't think that's done on accident. I don't think like the more I thought about this, I think the government. I mean, think about it, right? Like, not everybody could be multimillionaires and billionaires and super successful. You know what I mean? Like, we need people to work and do the everyday jobs. So I don't. The more I thought about this, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if the government wants that. I don't know if they want financial literacy in schools.
Because then you start to question everything, right?
Yeah, because then you're like, wait, what's the point of being in this fucking school in the first place? So I think the best thing that people can do is take ownership. I've learned over the years that I used to trust the government a lot more than I do today. It's up to you. You have to take full ownership of your life, of your finances, of your health, of every concept, and you can't rely on an institution to provide that for you. You have to take ownership of that. And I think we still very much live in the best country in the world where you could go on YouTube and learn everything that you need to learn to become financially free. Like, dude, my parents never earned more than $40,000-$50,000 a year. I became a millionaire by 28. I had, you know what I mean? And no formal education, no college education. And every piece of information is out there. It's just that individual needs to sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to take ownership of this aspect of my life and I'm going to figure it out. And you will. And it won't be that hard. You know, it's not that hard. But it's up to an individual to do that. If you rely on the government or school or college, you're going to be very disappointed. But what was cool is I met a few of like 20, 21-year-old kids there. And I'm like, dude, you paid $2,500 to be here. Good for you. And I was chatting with these kids and I'm like, instead of paying $100,000 for college, they're like, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to pay that money to people that have actually done something, that have actually built real businesses and made real money in the area that I'm looking to do it in. And those kids are going to be much more successful at 24 while their colleagues are just now getting out of college with a couple $100,000 in debt. Yeah. I'm willing to make that bet any day. Right. So I think mentorship is a great way to do it. And I think access is huge. Just getting around, like, for example, dude, if I wasn't exposed to you, if we didn't have this relationship, I probably wouldn't be in cryptocurrency. I probably would have missed out on a lot of money that right. So the relationships and the access that you have really matter. So. that's what I would recommend.
So, bro, when are you going to move back to Florida here? I know you spent a lot of time out in Chaz, the autonomous region of Seattle.
It's funny because I think growing up in Florida, as you get older and you see other places, the more you start to appreciate, especially this part of Florida, you know, Naples and surrounding areas. Yeah, dude, like you said, I've been in Seattle for 13 years now. And the city has really changed during the time I've been there. I mean, it was always a more liberal area and state, you know. But in the last few years, I mean, it's gotten so far to the left, you know. And like you mentioned, Chaz is this. They took over this neighborhood called Capitol Hill during COVID and during that whole thing, and they basically turned that area into their own city. Like they blocked it off. No cops were allowed. And it was just, they were just rioting and breaking into different, I had an office there at the time. They broke into our office like 2 times, you know, stole a bunch of shit. And my house got broken into. They stole over $40,000 worth of stuff. You will not get, you know what I mean? You won't get away with that type of shit. He lived in San Diego for years. And he went back home to Seattle to visit, and they broke the window to his car and stole his backpack and a bunch of shit. Long story short, he posted something on Instagram. He's like, no joke, I feel safer in Tijuana, Mexico than I do in San Diego or in Seattle. Wow. And that's a crazy thought.